नमस्कार विद्यार्थी मित्रांनो. खूप सर्व विद्यार्थ्यांच्या आग्रहामुळे आणि केलेल्या विनंतीमुळे आपण MPSC मधील इंडियन पॉलिटीची लक्ष्मीकांतची बॅच सुरू करत आहोत. या बॅचमध्ये मी स्वतः शिकवणार आहे. लक्ष्मीकांतमधील जेवढे शक्य असेल तेवढे मॅक्सिमम पॉईंट मी कव्हर करण्याचा प्रयत्न करणार आहे. ही बॅच तुम्हाला राज्यसेवा, कंबाईंड, पूर्व, मुख्य या सर्व परीक्षांना उपयुक्त असणार आहे. याच्या नोट्स तुम्हाला इंग्लिशमध्ये मिळतील. टीचिंग मात्र पूर्ण इंग्लिशमध्ये असेल हे लक्षात घ्या. आणि ही बॅच जर तुम्हाला जॉईन करायची असेल तर तुम्ही आपल्या ज्ञानदीप अकॅडमीचा जो रेड कलरचा लोगो आहे त्या रेड कलरच्या लोगोमध्ये स्टोअरवर जाऊन तुम्ही बॅच जॉईन करू शकता. तुम्हाला फीस आणि पेमेंट सर्व त्या ठिकाणीच करायचं आहे. कोणत्याही नंबरवर पेमेंट करायचं नाही आहे. आणि सर्वात महत्त्वाची गोष्ट, या बॅच संबंधित ज्या सर्व सूचना असतील त्या सर्वच्या सर्व सूचना तुम्ही अगोदर नीट वाचा आणि त्यानंतर नक्कीच्या नक्की बॅच जॉईन करा. आणि जर तुम्हाला या प्रकारचे लेक्चर्स आवडत असतील तर तुमच्या मित्रांसोबत सुद्धा ही बॅच शेअर करा. सर्वांना खूप खूप शुभेच्छा. धन्यवाद. हॅलो फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम यू ऑल टू ज्ञानदीप अकॅडमी फॉर UPSC Pune. Now today we are going to start with one of the most important topic of Indian polity. In this series I will be discussing almost all the important chapters from Lakshmikant. This is one of the most smooth series that you can have. I will try to explain every small concept of Indian polity, and whatever doubt you have, we will try to solve all those doubts as we get the time. So let's start with the first topic. The name of the topic is features of the constitution. Now before moving forward, first let's try to understand what is the meaning of constitution, right? You must have heard this word constitution, and those who are very new to this particular study, they might feel, what is this constitution? So the simplest definition of this constitution is nothing but a rule book, a book which contains all important rules, regulations, laws and bylaws which are very very essential for running this country in a democratic way is a constitution. Why there is necessity to have constitution? What was the necessity to have constitution? So basically this necessity was felt as we were ruled by Britishers for more than 100 plus years. And when Britishers ruled India, their rule was not democratic. It was undemocratic. They ruled India in a very undemocratic way. That's why the grand old man of India, Dadabhai Naoroji, he wrote a very interesting book. The name of the book was Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. Now I know, and you also know what is the meaning of poverty, but why he used the word un-British, right? Because Britishers were known for their democratic way of living. Britishers were known for rule of law. The concept of rule of law was given by A.V. Dicey, right? He was constitutional expert. He gave this concept of rule of law, and A.V. Dicey said that rule of law is prevalent only in England, and in all other countries there is no rule of law. Other countries are barbaric, they are undemocratic, they are a kind of military countries, or they are kind of administrative states. They are not democratic states. As per A.V. Dicey, only Britain is the democratic nation. Why? Because Britain has rule of law. So Britain was famous for a democratic way of governance. Britain was famous for rule of law. That's why these Britishers had double standard. Means what? They were having a democratic way of functioning in their own country. They were having rule of law in their own country, but they did not follow this democratic functioning and this rule of law in India. They were completely undemocratic in India. That's why Dadabhai Naoroji said that Britishers were not like Britishers in India. While running governance in India, while running administration in India, Britishers were behaving in a very undemocratic way. That's why Dadabhai Naoroji called it as an un-British way of governance. So the name of the book, The Poverty and Un-British Rule in India. That's why we needed this constitution. So what is this constitution? Basically, constitution is a rule book which contains all important rules, regulations, ways and methods to govern this country in a democratic way. My dear friends, I am trying to explain you every small concept so that it will be more easier for you to understand every concept in the easiest way, and it will be very easy for the beginners to understand these things. So what is constitution? Let's move forward. Now first thing, as I said, what is constitution? It is rule book. But the word rule book is layman's definition. When we start studying for civil services, whether it is a state services or UPSC, there you have to use technical terms. There you have to use a language which is more suitable for the particular examination. Then what is the proper definition of constitution? So here basically remember, constitution is fundamental law of the land. Every country has its own constitution. Then that constitution is fundamental law of that particular country. Like the Constitution of India is fundamental law of the land for India. India should be governed as per the rules, regulations given in the constitution. That's why remember, whenever you are being asked anywhere, what is constitution? So you should have this 3 to 4 word definition ready. What is constitution? Constitution is nothing but a fundamental law of the land. So constitution is the fundamental law of the land. Means what? So it is basically a basic text or a book which is composed of rules, regulations to run this country in a democratic way. Now comes the most important point. Majority part of the Indian Constitution has been taken from Government of India Act 1935. You have to star mark this point, the most important point. Almost 65 to 75% part, or rather I would use the word structural part, 65 to 75% structural part of the Indian Constitution has been taken from Government of India Act 1935. Now my dear friends, when you are preparing for civil services in history as well as in polity, certain important laws and regulations made in British era are very, very important, for which there you could get a question, like Government of India Act 1784, 1733, 1858, then 1884, then 1909, 1919, 1935. All these are very, very important laws which you should know by heart. So out of those laws, the Government of India Act 1935, which rather most part of this act did not came into enforcement. What I want to say, when Britishers made this Government of India Act 1935, this was the one of the most excellent law, but this law was not enforced, or this law was not implemented in its entirety. But still, this law continued to carry its weightage on Indian Constitution in next days. That's why our Indian Constitution has almost 65 to 75% part which is being taken from Government of India Act 1935. So here remember, almost structural part of the Indian Constitution has been taken from this Act of 1935, 65 to 75% portion. Now, this Indian Constitution has one of the very important amendment, and that amendment is 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act of 1976. This Amendment Act was brought by Indira Gandhi government. This Amendment Act of 1976, it made an attempt to change certain fundamental parts of the Indian Constitution. Or I would say, this Amendment Act of 1976, it made an attempt to carry out certain paradigm changes, to carry out certain fundamental changes into the Indian Constitution, which were later on by 44th Amendment Act were nullified by Janta government. But still, this 42nd Amendment Act has a very important impression on Indian Constitution, as it made an attempt to change certain fundamental parts of the Indian Constitution. That's why always remember, this 42nd Amendment Act is famously referred as a mini constitution. These two words are very, very important. I repeat once again, this 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act of 1976 is famously called as a mini constitution. Many features have been added from various constitutions of the world. This part I will star mark, as this point is very, very important from prelims examination point of view. They will straight away ask you, or they will go for a question like match the pair. They will give you features of the Indian Constitution, and in front of it they will write names of the countries, and they will ask you which part of the Indian Constitution has been taken from which country's constitution. So this is very important part which you have to remember by heart. So you remember many features which are present in Indian Constitution have been borrowed, have been sourced from various constitutions of the countries in the world. Then next, we have single constitution for both center as well as state. Now why it is important? Because in United States of America, there are separate constitution for state as well as center. In America, there is one federal constitution which is there for the central government, whereas every state in United States of America has its own separate constitution, which is not the case in India. In India, we have single constitution for both center as well as state, whereas in America there are separate constitution. One constitution is for central government and there are separate constitutions for the state government. What are its implications? We are going to analyze in next few chapters. So in America there are separate constitution for state and federal government, which is not the case in India. Now let's start with the important features of the Indian Constitution. First feature, Indian Constitution is one of the lengthiest constitution in the world. Indian Constitution is one of the longest constitution in the world. Whereas it is said American Constitution is one of the smallest constitution in the world. Why so? Let's go in the beginning. First, we'll try to understand why Indian Constitution is one of the longest constitution in the world. First reason, Indian Constitution contains both principles as well as provisions. Now, I will explain this line in comparison with US Constitution. In USA, this is an example, it is not the case, this is an example to make you understand the things. What is difference between principles and provisions? Like in USA, in America, their constitution says, let us say, that civil services in America should be selected based on merit. This one single line. Now this is principle of American Constitution. American Constitution says that the civil service like IAS officers, IPS officers, state service officers, all these people should be selected based on what? Based on merit. So this is simple principle and they leave it over there. This is only single line which is there in American Constitution. Now in Indian Constitution what it says? It says, first thing, the civil service in India should be based on merit. Then Indian Constitution says for selecting these civil services, there will be UPSC in the center, there will be state public service commissions like MPSC, UPPSC, Madhya Pradesh Public Service Commission, Maharashtra Public Service Commission in states. Then these shall be the functions of UPSC. These shall be the functions of SPSC. Then these will be the composition of UPSC. This will be composition of State Public Service Commission. They shall be appointed in this manner. They shall be removed in this manner. And for two or more than two states, there shall be joint state public service commissions. See, when American Constitution talks or gives a single line that civil service in America will be a merit based and they leave that thing over there only. But in case of India, for that same line, we have almost 50 to 60 lines added. Civil service should be merit based. For that, we will have UPSC, SPSC or Joint State Public Service Commission, then their composition, then their appointment, then their removal, then their functions. All these things are separately mentioned for MPSC, for UPSC and for Joint State Public Service Commission. So this is the reason why these points, these detailings are called as provisions. These detailings are called as provisions, and that single line that civil service should be based on merit is called as principles. So this is a clear-cut case that Indian Constitution, why it is lengthy? Because it contains both principles as well as provisions, whereas American Constitution contains only principles. Now, why we have principles as well as provisions? I will explain that point later on, but remember, there is a specific reason why we have principles as well as provision. I will just give you a hint over here. In case of India, we have synthesis of parliamentary sovereignty and judicial supremacy. What it is, we'll go later on. Clear? Now, this is it contains both principles as well as provision is first reason. Second, impact of British rule. British rule was a kind of very lengthy, bureaucratic and rule-based rule. They wrote down everything, and that every part has been added into the Indian Constitution to avoid any kind of overlapping, avoid any kind of confusion, avoid any kind of encroachment by one authority over the other. So this is another reason why Indian Constitution is one of the lengthiest constitution in the world. Geographical reason, India normally is not called as a country, it is called as a subcontinent. If you look at the vastness of India from Kashmir to Kanyakumari and from Porbandar to Silchar, you will from Porbandar to Silchar, you will realize the diversity of languages, of cultures, of religion, of caste, of way of living is so various that we have to accommodate needs, aspirations and demands of every single community into the constitution, and this made Indian constitution one of the bulkiest constitution in the world. It was the most important objective of Indian constitution maker that every single part should be added into the Indian constitution. No one should be left behind while making this constitution more democratic, and that's why Indian constitution became one of the lengthiest constitution in the world. Historical reason, we try to accommodate all important significant point from the perspective of Indian future into the Indian constitution. So this is the reason. And we have single constitution for both center as well as state. In America, there are separate constitution for both center as well as state. That's why American Central Constitution, which is called as a federal constitution, is one of the smallest constitution in the world. Whereas in case of India, we added central provision as well as federal provision into the single constitution. That's why Indian constitution is one of the lengthiest constitution in the world. Why? We have single constitution for both center as well as state. Dominance of legal luminaries, it means legal experts, and these legal experts had the proper knowledge what could be the variety of meaning from a single line or single language. So to avoid any kind of confusion, any kind of overlapping, they said that there should be a single constitution for both center and state, and every point should be written in detail so that that particular line could not have variety of meanings. That's why this dominance of legal luminaries was responsible for this particular lengthiness of the Indian constitution. Original Indian constitution had 22 parts, 8 schedules and 395 articles. Now, what is this? So, just I want to explain you. See what I said, Indian constitution is a book, right? So, this is a book, rule book. Now, every book has chapters. Same is the case. Indian constitution has various chapters. So, the various chapters which are there into Indian constitution are called as parts of the constitution. Now, if you go through a book, you will realize at the end of the book, always an important informative tables are provided. Informative data are provided in a graphical format, in a tabular format, or in the form of certain compressed charts. Same is the case. Indian constitution also has these important graphical, tabular and chart format data at the end, and these data are called as schedules of the constitution. Parts are chapters, data which are being provided, important information which is being provided at the end of the constitution is a schedules of the constitution, and articles. Every chapter has important points. These points are called as articles of the Indian constitution. So parts are nothing but chapters in the constitution, schedules are nothing but important tables added into the Indian constitution, and articles are important points which are given into the Indian constitution. Now these articles are again subdivided into clauses and sub clauses. So they are nothing but simple points. So no need to go in details of these things. Parts, schedules, article, clauses and sub clauses. So this is the structure of Indian constitution. So original Indian constitution had 22 parts and 8 schedule and 395 articles, whereas original American constitution had just only 7 articles. So this is the important thing that you have to remember. Clear? So this is first part. Now, second important feature, first feature we have seen, it is Indian constitution is a lengthiest constitution. Second constitution, Indian constitution is a written constitution. It means everything is written. We have a proper written constitution. Then comes the question, where is the use of this word written constitution? Remember, written constitution is a federal feature of the Indian constitution. Remember, written constitution is a federal feature. What is the meaning of federal feature? We are going to study just in a short while. But remember, Indian constitution is a written constitution and it is federal feature of the Indian constitution. What is the benefit of having a written constitution? It protects any kind of encroachment on the authority of a state by the center. See, let us say we have a deal between you and me. You came to me in the night. You sit, we discussed, and you have full trust on me. I have full trust on you. You gave me 1 lakh rupee. I said, yes, no problem. I will give you whatever you demanded tomorrow morning and we'll meet. I do not give you anything in writing. I do not give you any receipt. And you left that 1 lakh rupee with me. Now, let us say you came tomorrow morning and you said, I gave you 1 lakh rupees, but I refused to entertain you. I said that you did not give me 1 lakh rupee. Do you have any evidence? No. This is the reason why having written constitution, it means central government cannot act excessively against state government. Central government cannot encroach upon the authority and powers of the state government. This is the important thing. And if this thing is there, it means whenever central government act against constitution, go beyond constitution, state government has the right to approach Supreme Court as everything is given in writing in the constitution. That's why this written constitution is called as a federal feature of the Indian constitution. This is very, very important thing. I repeat once again, this is the reason why written constitution is called as a federal feature, as it protects any kind of encroachment on the authority of state by the center. Now some comparison. Indian constitution is a written constitution. American constitution is also a written constitution. Third, British constitution is not a written constitution. This is very, very important here. Many students feel that since British constitution is not a written constitution, it means Britain do not have constitution. Many have this misconception. So my dear friends, remember this thing very clearly. Britain has its own constitution. Britain has its own separate constitution, but the only one thing which is important is British constitution is not a written constitution. It is unwritten constitution. Then what are the points, or what could be the constitution of Britain? So various laws made by British Parliament, then various bylaws made by British Parliament, various conventions of the British parliamentary system, various traditions of the British system, various charters announced by the Queen, and all other judicial announcements, few which have acceptance, are part of the British Constitution. So if you search for a book named Constitution of Britain, like India or America, you won't find a single book which has a name Constitution of Britain. No such book exists. Nowhere. But Britain has a constitution. And what is that constitution? Various laws made by the parliament. Laws, bylaws, rules, regulations, charters, conventions, traditions, and few judicial announcements made by or accepted by parliament is a part of British constitution. So I repeat once again, Britain, three important things. First thing, British has a constitution. Second, their constitution is not written. And third, this all component that I have written over here is part of the British constitution. So in case of India, remember we have a written constitution, and having a written constitution is a federal feature of the Indian constitution. Now third important point, or third important feature. As I told you, majority part of the Indian constitution has been taken from Government of India Act 1935. Mostly structural part of the Indian constitution has been taken from Government of India Act 1935. Correct? Then other than these things, we have borrowed various important features from various constitutions of the world, right? Now we have taken like fundamental duties from one constitution, DPSP from another constitution, fundamental right from third constitution. So we added these various points into our constitution. Why? Because India is one of the youngest democracy in the world. This line is very, very important because India is one of the youngest democracy in the world. Yes, it's very true. We are one of the youngest democracy in the world. And many democracies have gone through almost 200 to 300 years from this particular phase of democracy, like British democracy, French democracy, Irish democracy, American democracy. Now, every democracy faces certain important problems in her life. Every democracy faces certain problems in her own life. So what we thought that if we go or if we become 25-year-old, then Britain has faced these problems at the age of 25 years of democracy. America had faced these problems at the age of 50 years of democracy. So while making constitution, we realize that our democracy is also going to face similar problems in the days to come. So what we did, we added all those features which could resolve our problems in the future. We did not face those problems on the day when we made the constitution, but we had the experience of other democracies in the world. They faced such problem at the different stages of their life. So what we did, we added all those parts which they added at those problem into our constitution, so that it will become more easier for us to add all those points in a very proper manner. That's why we added various parts from various constitutions of the world, so that Indian democracy can sustain, can overcome all the difficulties which Indian democracy is going to face in the days to come. That's why we have borrowed various features into the Indian constitution by ransacking most important constitutions in the world. But many members in the Constituent Assembly criticized this thing, and they said whatever parts that we have added into our constitution made our constitution a patchwork. They said Indian constitution is a patchwork. We added only patches. We did not make something new, and we wanted to make Indian constitution unique, but it has become a patchwork. To which Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar explained in a very magnificent manner. Now see, this criticism has been refuted by Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. He said that it's not only a patchwork, but it's a beautiful patchwork. It means he said that we did not added these parts only for the sake of adding, or only for the sake of making Indian constitution bulky and more enormous and more complex. No, it's a beautiful patchwork suited to the requirement of Indian constitution with the passage of time. It means all the things that we added into the Indian constitution will be more useful for us in the days to come. As time passes, we might face various difficulties, and then how to overcome these difficulties, we can have the experience of these world constitution, and we can solve these problems in a very easiest manner. That's why Indian constitution is one of the beautiful patchwork. Clear? So this is important part. Now one important homework for you: try to mug up every part of the constitution that we have taken from other countries. Why? Because you could definitely get a question like match the pair on those parts. So remember, you have to mug up all important parts, which part has been taken from which country in the world. So this is important. You have to mug up all those things which are very, very important. So this is the case. Now, another important thing you have to remember, as I told, I'm telling you many a times, structural part of the Indian Constitution has been taken from Government of India Act of 1935. Very, very important. Structural part of the Indian Constitution has been taken from Government of India Act of 1935. Philosophical part has been taken from Fundamental Rights USA and DPSP Ireland. Remember, I repeat once again, structural part of the Indian Constitution has been taken from Government of India Act 1935. Philosophical part is there in Fundamental Rights and DPSP. we have taken fundamental rights from American Constitution and we have taken DPSP from Irish Constitution. And the political part of the Indian Constitution has been taken from England. This is the important part. Structural part, philosophical part, and third one is political part. So remember these things. You could definitely get a question in prelims examination on this part. Now, fourth important feature of Indian Constitution. Indian Constitution is a blend of rigidity and flexibility. Now, I just want to give you a simple comparison so that this thing will be very, very clear. England Constitution, that is UK Constitution, is one of the most flexible constitution in the world. Why? Because England Constitution is composed of parliamentary laws. So whenever we add a parliamentary law, it is part of constitution. Whenever we repeal or delete a parliamentary law, it is not a part of the constitution. So you remember, English Constitution is the most flexible constitution in the world. US Constitution, it is the most rigid constitution in the world. It is very difficult to make changes in federal provisions of the federal constitution. It is very difficult. That's why American Constitution is called as one of the most rigid constitution in the world. Then what about India? So remember, Indian Constitution is a mix of these two. Indian Constitution is a rigid as well as flexible constitution in the world. That's why Indian Constitution is a blend of rigidity as well as flexibility. Now we'll try to understand what is the meaning of this rigidity and flexibility. First, rigidity, what it means. When we say that a constitution is rigid, it means it is very difficult to make changes into the provisions of the constitution. It is not easy to make changes in the constitution that easily. That's why some of the features of the constitution cannot be amended very easily. That's why Indian Constitution is called as a rigid constitution. What is flexibility? Some features of the constitution can be amended very easily. Like in England, it is very easy to amend the laws. That's why flexible constitution. In America, it is very difficult to make laws and make changes into the constitution. So it is rigid constitution. Whereas in India, certain provisions are there which can be changed very easily with simple majority. That's why those provisions are called as flexible part of the constitution. But certain features of the constitution cannot be amended very easily. It requires special majority of the parliament along with at least half of the states saying yes. By what majority of states? States giving majority of simple majority. Then it is called as rigid constitution. So certain features in Indian Constitution can be amended very easily. Certain features cannot be amended very easily. That's why Indian Constitution is a mix of blend as well as rigidity. We'll explain it again. Now here, first article of our lecture, Article 368. Article 368, it talks about amendment of the Constitution. So you can make changes into the Indian Constitution under Article 368. So that's why Article 368 of the Indian Constitution, it talks about constitutional amendments. Various types of laws are there. We are going to study all those points one by one. But here remember, Article 368, it talks about amendment of the Indian Constitution. Now, first thing, Indian Constitution can be amended in three ways under Article 368. Right? Indian Constitution can be amended in three ways under Article 368. First, by simple majority of the Parliament. Since we can make changes into the Indian Constitution by simple majority of the Parliament, these are flexible parts of the Indian Constitution. So it is same like England. That's why Indian Constitution is flexible constitution like England. Certain provisions can be changed with special majority of the Parliament, and it is very difficult to get special majority. So it is rigid constitution. And certain provisions of the Indian Constitution can be changed with special majority of the Parliament plus at least half of the states saying yes to that amendment by simple majority. It means in this third case, you need permission of central government as well as state government. You need permission of central government in which format? In special majority, and you need permission of state government in which format? In simple majority. But getting permission of both these organs of the Indian political machinery is very difficult thing. That's why this part 2 and 3 makes Indian constitution rigid, right? So second and third type reflects rigid constitution. Second and third type reflects rigid constitution, like America, Australia and Switzerland. Like America, Australia and Switzerland. So Indian constitution is a blend of rigidity as well as flexibility. This you have to remember. Certain parts can be amended very easily, whereas certain parts cannot be amended very easily. That's why Indian constitution is a blend of rigidity as well as flexibility. So that's all from my side. We'll be meeting tomorrow again with the same topic, that is features of the constitution. So keep tuning and please share with your friends for all these lectures. So thank you all. Thank you. Have a good day.